we've got a bunch of different things we're going to do. The first panel is one that we're particularly interested in, especially because the program that we work for, the route tax program, is has so many different grant programs that you can take advantage of. I'm sure some of you have taken advantage of them already. But the one key aspect that one has to keep in mind is, particularly as we not only use that program, but design events that are likely to compete and vie for funding, is how do these events tie into and relate to tourism? A lot of us can write grants and sort of say, you know, sure, here's how. But I think what we're trying to, I mean, there's real solid interest, I think, certainly from the STPB, the Tourism, Strategic Tourism Planning Board, and trying to think more and more about how events can help generate more tourism traffic. And even as we're having this discussion, there's certainly talks going on about how we redefine and further refine what we mean by what tourism traffic is. So here to talk to us about this today are three of the people who do this almost every day. Tom Knight from County Planning, who really runs the tourism program, Bruce Stoff and Christy Mitchell, who are from the CVB. So, and their job is to generate and manage tourism throughout the course of the year. So, who goes first?
I'm in here, so I can go first.
Okay, you got it.
We're a small enough group to be nice to really quickly know where you are coming from. So maybe you could each tell us if there's one event that you're primarily interested in that you're doing, that you're coming with questions about or ideas to explore here. Tell us your name and what that event is. You want to first step in here?
Sure.
Just so we can kind of
Yeah.
get a sense of who all's in the room.
My name is Stephanie Meyer. I'm with the Paleontological Research Institution. We're better known by our two public educational venues, the Museum Theater and Nature Center. And we do a number of events. This weekend, for example, is Maple Festival. One that we have a new event percolating for next year, a new fundraising event. There'll be some sort of hike and bike. It's still in the works, but I'm trying to wrap my brain around how to figure out putting one of those kind of big events together here.
I'm Maya Cantori. I'm also from the Paleontological Research Institution, and just a couple other events we've had at Extravaganza next weekend. This has been a busy couple weeks for us, and we have Wildlife weekend, and I'm the Director of Visitor Services for both locations, so I get to oversee and help organize all the events. Just learning how to get better.
Great.
I'm Laura Sankras, and my family owns Little Tree Orchards, and we do various events open to the public. One that's coming up is we do Mother's Day Blossom Festival, which is like a free event for families, and then I'm looking at trying to plan some kind of harvesty cheese and apple festival.
And there will be blossoms by Mother's Day?
Let's cross our fingers.
I'm Micah Noterpole. I'm with CFSCAPE Community Credit Union. I do mostly their meeting planning, but I also have a few volunteer opportunities where I'm starting to work with their events, such as SPCA.
Marketplace Fireplace Solutions Network. We are in the process of figuring out how to have larger events in the community to bring awareness to mental health issues and work collaboratively with the community. And so I'm here to see what information I can get.
I'm Guillermo Metz with Cooperative Extension. Back here for something. But the main event, the biggest one that we do is the Green Buildings Open House in the fall. Green Buildings Open House. It's sort of a community tour of green buildings. And we do it every year. We're thinking of doing it every other year at this point. But
Great.
Thanks. I'm going to talk a little about things that you might think about to enhance the tourism impact of your event. First, because you're going to talk about the room tax program a little more in your presentation, so I'm not going to cover that too much right now. And it's a small enough group that hopefully we can just have a dialogue and you can bring your ideas about what you might want to do. We can discuss your events or events specifically. I have a handout. Just passing that around. I'll run this one back to here. Okay, here. Okay, thanks. So, I mean, not everybody here may be applying right away for a tourism grant, so something to think about is information that I may talk about related to enhancing your event can actually sort of help your event be successful and grow regardless of whether your primary mission is to attract visitors through it. So I'm talking about packaging, things you can do to around structuring your event to enhance its tourism impact, and then also a little bit about some specific events that show us examples. So let's talk about packaging first. This is the CBB's package website. So one way to think about packaging is just to follow a model that some of the properties that are up here have. And it's basically just trying to make it really easy for visitors who are coming to your event to have sort of you do the legwork to kind of put together the hotel stay, the restaurant experience, maybe the tour that goes along with it. And then you actually can, through these formal packages, build that right indirectly into your registration process. So that's one way to think about it, and that can be really successful. Here's an event, the Keuka Sup Cup, that has some information on where you can stay right directly on their website. They're a program that we've supported. You know, there are several programs that have come along that just sort of get it. This is one that definitely gets it. Part of their packaging is they go beyond just sort of here's the lodging opportunities. And this goes into designing the event, they've actually built a bunch of, they call them suptivities, sup being stand-up paddleboarding. They've actually built a bunch of activities that would be of interest to their audience. They're doing a stand-up paddleboard race out of Myers Park. The race itself is on Saturday or Sunday? I think it's on Sunday maybe. And they, you know, on Friday they've got chakra balancing aerial yoga. There are people who do stand-up paddleboarding and yoga, so it's really popular. So, you know, maybe they would come a couple days early to take part in all these activities. Here they've got free aerial yoga demos on Saturday, free log rolling demos. And then they communicate with their guests about other things too that they can do to really build a community, and so that it's not just like come and do the race and go home, but they're designing their event so that it's a multi-day experience and it's richer. Another event that does that, I just pulled this off the Keuka Trails 50 website. Anybody familiar with the Keuka Trails 50? Our friend Ian Golden over at Finger Lakes Running and Triathlon Company does this one. This isn't like a beautiful website, but he's got, the schedule is impressive. Same thing, it's an event that takes place on a Sunday morning. It's a 50-mile trail run, 14,000 feet of elevation gain and loss in 50 miles. They run up and down Buttermilk and Treeman gorges. And so people, you and I can't do that. I can't do that. But people travel from all over the country. And they were actually the U.S. National Trail Championship for 50 mile last year. But Ian didn't just say, okay, you know, come for the race, and I'm just going to focus on the race. he really thought about how can I build this into more of a tourism draw. So actually the calendar goes all the way back to Wednesday, where he's got a company coming in that's doing like trail running workshops and demos. But starting on Friday, the company's Animal Athletics, open boot camp session in the morning, free group run. There's a running clinic in the evening, Friday evening, at one of the sites of one of the runs. And then in the evening, he's saying, everybody who's going to do this, come on out to Ithaca Beer's tap room. Have a big communal hoorah to kind of start the weekend off right. And then they have Saturday to probably not drink beer the night before we're 50 miles. But on Saturday, what do they have? He's actually built right here at Cinemapolis this Trails in Motion International Film Festival that he's bringing in. So this is like an additional event that you know, folks that are again coming for the Keuka Trails 50 are probably going to say, hey, it makes total sense for me to come to Ithaca and bring my whole family for the whole weekend, rather than just kind of showing up and crashing in my car the night before, running 50 miles and going home. Right? So that's what we're trying to encourage you to really think about, is how can you speak to your audience in a way that, and build more activity around your event to expand it. And if you can get people here during the midweek being Sunday through Thursday night, that's like your golden egg of what we're trying to achieve. Because our room occupancy in hotels we have pretty good occupancy rates on the weekends. And so our opportunity to expand tourism in the community is during the midweek and on certain weekends when we don't have a lot of activity. So part of designing your event is also being aware of the calendar. If you really want to be a tourism event and you want to approach us for funding, the TompkinsFestivals.com has an organizer's calendar that is curated is right around this time of the year to identify all the major events in the community that you should be aware of as an organizer as you're planning your event. And this, I would imagine the CBD would be available to consult on that too. And we want you, if you've got a choice about when to do your event and you really want it to be about tourism, you've got to really look at that calendar and, you know, gosh sakes, don't do it on Cornell graduation weekend. We had a bass tournament that really wanted to come here on move-in weekend last year, and you know, Bruce, Mr. Tourism guy, actually, it was in a very strange role there. I'm telling them to go away, please.
Yeah, it's tough to turn away a group of 15,000 people because it conflicts with the biggest weekend of the year. But it would have been a disaster to have them here, so we had to say no.
So, I mean, Tom, a corollary to that is the city of Ithaca. If you're doing an event in the city, if they will not approve multiple large events on the same day.
Thank you.
You know, so they've sort of made that internal decision that from just a people and resource position, they consciously won't do that. So we really do have to keep that in mind, otherwise you immediately run into some problems.
Yeah, Tom, if I could interject one thing.
Please,
You're talking about the events Tom was just talking about there with the Sub Cup and the Keuka Trails 50. You know, you think of tourism and you think it's got to be some big, massive thing that's going to fill every hotel room in town, you know, the size of the Ithaca Festival or bigger. But really, I mean, the successful ones here, the Sub Cup is relatively small, the Keuka Trails 50, that's a real niche audience. And you think about it, you know, we're not looking at, for tourism in this county, we're looking at, I don't want to say obscure events, but really niche audiences, and you can have a successful tourism event with 50 people or 100 people. You know, that's what we're looking at here, and all these small little unique items. You know, it could be, you know, maybe it's an heirloom apple aficionado group that goes to the orchard, or maybe it's some unique paleontological or geological group that comes into the museum. But a small group of 50 people, if a couple of them stay in a hotel and it's midweek, that's a great tourism event for us. And what it does, it kind of fills in this tapestry of crazy things that Ithaca stands for. You know, it's all this little educated, obscure, fun, unexpected things. So all these events fit into tourism, and they don't have to be giant.
And I know a lot of talk about hotel rooms and the sample that Tom had shown of the Keuka like Sup Cup where they offered like 3 different room like options for hotels where you could stay. That's something that you can work with our team to develop. If you want, I mean, how do you say stay at Hotel Ithaca at this discounted rate? That's something that we can help organize for you. If you give us a call, we can send information to all the hotels across town and say, this group needs 20 rooms and they'll be reserved for you for your, individual groups until about a month out until they have to, release them if they're not sold. But that gives you an opportunity to showcase where they can stay at, potentially a better rate to entice people to come overnight.
Yeah, we do that stuff every day, so if you ever have questions about partnering up with hotels, call over the visitors bureau.
Thanks, guys. So this is the Philadelphia Flying Phoenix dragon boat team. They're from Philadelphia. Group of women who are super into dragon boating. Folks familiar with the Finger Lakes International Dragon Boat Festival? Great event. They have community boats too. So, when they first started bringing in teams, and they were getting funds from us, they saw that, the dragon boat is 30 people. So they were renting buses from people from Toronto and Philadelphia and other places, and coming in, and you can kind of sleep on the bus if you're tired, you get to leave early, or after a long day. And so they were just kind of coming in for the day. And we said, hey, can we really work with you to expand this into more than a single day event, to have a bigger impact on the community and help all these people that are coming from all over, may or may not have been to Ithaca before, to kind of experience more of the community. And so this is an example of an event where you could really think about how to design it around expanding more tourism. So what ideas would you have? What advice would you have for the folks who are organizing the Dragon Boat Festival? How they could get those folks who are coming in their buses to stay longer and have a richer experience in the whole community? Ideas, yeah. Go ahead. One idea we threw out them is, you start early in the morning. Well, why don't you do a packet pickup party downtown the night before? Or, why don't you work with some hotels to do an after party, maybe at some hotels, and get all the teams together to celebrate the day. Other ideas?
Well, what they did for teachers was nice.
What's that?
What they, just offering a package that like they did for the teachers, where they were like, if you could work with certain hotels or bed and breakfast that would offer them a nice night and a dinner.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, put together some collaborations with different
Or
restaurants or
yeah.
businesses.
Or I love that idea of picnicking. You could probably work with one of the larger hotels or eateries that could provide a nice picnic for them.
Sure. Yeah. Something real simple you can do too is just put together a really good goodie bag. Folks are familiar with goodie bags. A lot of events have them. When I go to events, I love coupons, and I'll take the coupon and I'll go to the gift shop, where I can get a discount, bring something back for my kids or whatever, So really, and so rather than just doing a standard goodie bag, you could work with businesses to develop coupons or, put together those partnerships. And especially you want to focus on who's my audience, right? And what would they be interested in? You could do package tours of the wineries, a day after or day before wine tours. So endless ideas, and you really just need to think through who your audience is, what they might be interested in doing while they're here in Ithaca, and start thinking way ahead of time what you can build into the experience. So.
Don't be afraid to call restaurants and call wineries. I know if it's a Thursday afternoon at 6 Mile Creek, if you had
a complimentary tasting coupon, they'd be happy to have 20 people flood into their winery for, a quick tasting, and they have the potential to sell to those people. So there's always businesses that will want to work with you for those value adds.
So I spoke about packet pickup. This is from the Keuka Lake Triathlon website. They're a group that, they really do the packet pickup up, and they bring it, they don't just, the event takes place at Saganic Falls State Park. They're bringing in, there's about 750 participants to that. A little less than half are coming from out of town. And, triathlons start early in the morning. And so if you're coming from out of town, you're probably going to want to run the night before, especially if, as an event organizer, I tell you to come the night before and go to packet pickup, take advantage, again, of some of these other activities they're building. And this is just a map of the commons. They show, okay, here's where the packet pickup is. And if you're there on the Saturday before the Keuka Lake Triathlon, you'll see the people streaming into the Finger Lakes Running and Triathlon Company. That's a nice way for them, by the way, to support their sponsor. What it also does is it gets people into the downtown and going to shops while they're there, maybe going out to dinner on Aurora Street. I think they do have, things in their goodie bag. And that's a way to really introduce them to the community beyond just, oh, beautiful Saganic Falls State Park. But if you're, that's really the full range of experiences, right, the park and downtown. So that's an example of an event that does a packet pickup really well, I think. Getting people into the downtown, getting here the day before, so that they're staying overnight and experiencing the full community. Let's see, other ideas to think about. You've got them here on your little sheet. I'll stop there and let Bruce and Christy talk, and then we can kind of maybe pull out some of your events and ideas that you may have. I think the bottom line to kind of try to drive home is that, think beyond just your single one event, and really get creative about what you can do to make it a multi-day event, to form partnerships with other businesses and visitor experiences in the community to enrich, that experience for the potential visitors, so that it does become a reason to travel and a reason to stay longer and spend more money ultimately, which helps all of us, by generating economic development. So I'll break on you guys.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, we'll have another presentation.
Yeah.
Did you have a question, Stephanie, while they're
I
getting
was
loaded
trying
in?
to figure out, I didn't hear which event this was.
This is the Keuka Lake Triathlon.
We want to get
Yeah, and you can see this, it doesn't have to be fancy. They just put together, this is the description of their registration packet pickup. They get everybody's email address, and then they communicate a lot with them via email and push them to this site so that they know where to go, and they're told to accommodate for.
Yeah, no, these guys are lucky too, because they've got a pretty long track record of getting people into the community. So when they ask for items for their giveaway packet, they get a lot of interest in it. But it starts really easily if you got a small event. Start with your friends and family who work in local businesses, and that's where you start. You pick up 2 or 3 restaurants or a retail shop or whatever to start your goodie bag, your giveaway bag. And if you have your event running for 10 years and you get 800 people, a year coming to the thing, they need to start doing big stuff like that.
Well, the idea that the packet pickup for that is at their sponsor, is at one of their major sponsors,
Yeah.
is huge. In fact, I'm told that that's, if not the busiest, one of the busiest days that business has all year.
Probably a lot of surrounding businesses.
Because of the, it's just because of the traffic that it generates for them. So, in terms of really, it would be very hard for that sponsor to say, well, I don't want to do this again, or it really cements a really great relationship there with the event and their sponsor.
Right, and I'm sure that the triathlon provides a lot of support for the event, for that benefit.
So with a little bit of luck here, we'll do our.
I wanted to plug into his computer so we could use the clicky thing, but it wasn't working, so I apologize. Chris, I don't know if you want to
Yeah, I was going to
do
start
a
here.
slide.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is just a little rundown on what we do at the Visitors Bureau and how that ties into the group tax program, and a little bit about why we're interested in events and the stuff that you're working on that help us generate money and revenue. So officially, the Visitors Bureau, we're a destination marketing organization. And our job really is to get people to come from out of the community into the community to spend money here. And we're designated such, the marketing organization by the county, for the official destination marketing organization or tourism promotion agency for the county. I don't know if this one's too legible. That's a little hard to read. But it's, who's in charge? We're down at the bottom of the pyramid here because everything kind of flows downhill. But it's the citizens, the legislature, and a bunch of different committees that we work with to promote tourism in the region. And we're all working off of a strategic plan, which is developed and updated every 10 years that talks about what we want the community to be as a tourism destination and how we promote tourism in a way that's beneficial for the community without harming us and overcrowding us. So it's kind of a neat program. And we're all funded here through room tax. And it's every hotel and B&B pays their guests pay a chunk of money into the county. It's 5% for larger hotels, 3% for B&Bs and smaller inns. Adds up to about $2 million and change a year, which is kind of fun. It's a nice pocket of money to play with. And the reason that the county legislature, and why every community you go to has a tourism tax like this, is because it's other people's money. It's people who come in and spend it. It's not local money. So it makes it an especially lovely tax for people for communities to charge other people. So the county gets about 10% for overhead, an additional 5% for administration, and then you see the remaining is split up between marketing and development. We get a smidge over, we get about $1 million a year at the CVB, and you can see it's broken up into all those chunks and how we split it up in what we do with it. So group sales is any kind of conference or meeting group, a bus tour that comes in. Visitor services, we have 2 visitor centers. We have a downtown visitor center and one on East Shore Drive. So when people actually come into the community and give brochures and information, and marketing, the big chunk there, that's what Christy does. That's websites, that's advertising, that's PR work, that's telling people to travel to Key West in the coldest weekend of the year, that sort of thing. Who are we trying to reach? We've got a nice piece of research that we try to do every 5 years as a county, which is running on 8 years now for the 5-year plan. That kind of broke it down. These are who are coming here. It's dual income, no kids, families, people traveling for education. Mostly it's the female decision makers who we're marketing to. Women make all the decisions in the world, so that's what our marketing is trying to reach. People who come here, about half of them are coming for university-related business, either getting a kid in or out of school, touring the college, or actually doing business with the college. The key travel motivators you see here, it's far and away Cornell, just because of the scale of the operation there. Gorges and waterfalls are next, and the thing that surprised us in the study that came out was downtown and dining were big motivators. Specifically dining, that people are actually coming here for the food, so that was fun to see. Going through our individual departments here, this is what the group sales people lead to. For folks in the event side, to the extent that you have motor coaches coming, we can help you with that. Generally, I don't think this would really fit in an events audience here, so you want to think about that too. Visitor services is big. We get about 15,000 people a year coming to our visitor centers, and they're always looking for what to see and do. So once you get your event rolling, make sure you tell us, and we pass along to the visitor services people. We're also doing an awful lot of outreach with cell phone, digital, chat stuff now, and that's going to become even more so to reach even more people who are in the market wondering what to do today, tonight, tomorrow. That's all coming from the visitor services side. So definitely, as you're doing events, tell us what's going on, and we make sure to tell people in person when they're coming here. And then the big chunk of marketing and PR, and I'm going to let Christy take on from here. This is for events folks. We do an awful lot. What we're trying to sell in Tompkins County is what you guys do. It's funky, fun, bizarre things. Sup Cup. I didn't know what a Sup Cup was, or that people would actually dragon boating. Where'd that come from? It's all these crazy things that you don't expect to see. And that's where we need event producers to come up to us and say, hey, we've got this, we've got we've got a fringe festival coming up. And what's a fringe festival? I don't know, but we've got a skateboard jam coming up. what's that? I didn't know people would travel for that, but they do. So all the fun, crazy stuff that you guys come up with, that's what gives the community character, and that's what we can sell as a marketing organization. So Christy, you want to
Sure, yeah.
talk marketing a bit?
Definitely. Yeah, without you, we have nothing to promote,
We got
so we don't really do anything. So we have to seek out all of the community events and use that to promote tourism. This is some of our economic impact numbers. You can see as far as like other counties in New York State go, Tompkins is, you know, it has a really great impact from tourism. That's really important to our entire community. It provides, it's like a $523 tax break to all the households in Tompkins.
Yeah, that was, by the way, that was in millions, so it's a $177
Yes.
million business in our county.
Yes. What else we got? I got tourism impact, like we were just saying, huge numbers in tourism spending. And as Bruce had mentioned, it's surprisingly skews towards lodging, and dining is actually one of the #1 spends. So any way that you can tie into,
Yeah, this
you know,
number here is, this is at $335 per person per trip. That's why we spend a lot of time working with hotel packages, and why we keep talking about that with event producers. Because what those people leave behind in the community is really significant. And these numbers are about a decade old, so it's probably, 20, 30%, maybe more high. We'll find out in another year what that number is now. But that's why we keep talking about hotels and overnight stays, because that's where the money is. That's how we can bring money in for the community.
the number of annual visitors is around 800,000, but
848.
it's
Again,
probably
Chamorro's 2009 data.
We're hoping to break 1 million.
absolutely. And, you know, it provides jobs, and it also provides, you know, from those room tax dollars, a lot of funding for festivals because they're so important to tourism. Speaking about some of the 2015 priorities that our office has identified, you know, culinary tourism is very important. Emerging tourism markets like birding, or, you know, like agriculture, and you were mentioning, you know, like an apple style festival. Those are all really niche markets that are blowing up, that are really important. You know, outdoor recreation, like the Sup Cup, these are all priorities that align with the strategic plan. So as you're, you know, working through festival creation, if you do seek out the strategic plan for some inspiration and themes to tie into, that's really helpful. So what else? So this is kind of how do events fit in. Like we were saying, we need your events. We have nothing to promote without all of you and all of the events that are happening around town. And some opportunities that the CVB offers. We have so many different promotional tools that we use on a daily basis that you guys might not know about. We have e-blasts, and I put this first because in the past 2 months, we've grown our email marketing list by 20,000 people, which is killer. That's a huge number. So one of these email blasts, you know, goes out to over 30,000 people, and anybody in this room can, you know, submit an event and be a part of that. Most recently, this morning, we sent out a note about Keuka Nature Center's Maple Fest, Science Center's Non-Mythical Beast display. 2 weeks ago, we sent out a note about Skate Jam, trying to pump people up and get them in hotel rooms that Skate Jam has facilitated. Lots of, you know, theater events that are going on, and yeah, over 30,000 people with one click from us.
You
So.
built a puzzle there for the Maple Fest?
It was an internal puzzlement.
Oh.
Don't worry, we're promoting you guys, and I want to go,
That was
so
not a displeasure with you.
better like it. No. We also have a pretty decent social media following, and we post stuff every single day. So, you know, we're always communicating with, you know, visitors and potential visitors on Facebook.
Yeah, what's the Facebook, 20-some odd thousand?
It's like 24,000, I think. And those are, it's a really active group. So it's a good opportunity, and we like I said, we post every single day, and we're dying for content and things to post because we run out of stuff and we run out of pretty waterfall pictures, so we need actual events and ideas to get content live.
Yeah, if you get llamas wearing blue and gold dresses in any of your events, those work well.
Yeah.
Good
But-
post about that.
So, I mean, just, a couple events, we were promoting Sunny Days and their, anniversary. We promoted Maple Fest on Twitter this week, so there's just, it doesn't matter how big or how small, it's really, a good opportunity to just get out there and spark some, social media interest and sharing. We also, obviously, we offer opportunities on the website, and if you aren't already involved in ithacaevents.com, it's a free website, a completely free service for anyone to sign up. It's something turnkey, you just log in yourself, create a username and password, and that's free. It posts to Ithaca Events. Ithaca Events pushes to visit Ithaca. You can have homepage placement. If you see that circle right there on the sidebar, those are events that we are feeding from Ithaca Events to our site, and they land on the homepage. So,
And by the way, we're going to be doing it, we're in the midst of a major overhaul on Ithaca Events and Visit Ithaca right now.
so in 2 months it won't look like this at all.
But the functionality will still be here.
Yes, so there will be an Ithaca Events, and it will remain free and a great opportunity. So, and something new that we just started, we are working with Ithaca Voice, and we have an annual weekly column in the online newspaper. And so every week on Thursday, we post events, whatever, sparks our interest or whatever the biggest events are of that year. This week we put Ithaca Opera and the Maple Festival, of course, is two of our top billings. We add pictures, and that's a huge community website, so, and tourism website. They do a great job transitioning between the two. But another free opportunity from our office that we
If I
can.
could jump in on
Yes.
that. Interesting about Ithaca Voice is talking to those guys, they reach a huge diaspora Ithaca audience that's outside of the community. So it's actually an interesting tourism website for getting people who don't live here to come here. That's one of the top sites for out-of-towners to look at, find out what's going on in town. So that's why we're in Ithaca, we're on that site. And they're fun guys to work with too. So.
Mm-hmm. And Bruce touched on visitor centers earlier, but, we have, people who are like on the street, in the Commons, and in our, main office on East Shore Drive. They can talk about your event. We can hold on to, any brochures or flyers and distribute them to people who are coming to us. We are talking to them face-to-face, we're talking to them online. There's a potential to work with the team to do any kinds of ticket sales or promotions. That can all be done in our office. And we also have a really big push for public relations. We're always working to get in the national spotlight. We work with a bunch of organizations that are, local and regional to, get in the news. And sometimes it's the quirkiest things that get you there,
Sometimes you go viral.
like Key West, but, any creative newsworthy events or, angles to those events, or even characters who are, part of those events are really great. And the crazier the better. I don't know if we have time to show this little.
Scarecrow.
Nope, I couldn't show it. Oh, it clicked through. Like the Scarecrow Jubilee, that was just something that's so offbeat and quirky that Travel Channel was like, yeah, we want to film that. So, yes, and the final, what do all these have in common? They're free from our office, so just contact us for any help and promotion. Questions?
Yeah. One thing I'll add into, in one of the slides there we talked about events that we're working on, downtown promotions was at the bottom of the list. That's a big one for this year, starting for this summer when the Commons is done. And I encourage all of you for any event planning, that if you have components that can appear on the Commons for promotional activity or ticket sales or anything you're doing to draw attention to your event, we're going to be spending a lot of time and money promoting the Commons starting in mid-August. So we'll be more than happy to talk about any of your events that have a Commons time.
When is when are they supposed to get? I know this is like,
August 28 and 29 are going to be the opening ribbon cutting days and festival celebration. Gary, you can talk a little bit about that if you want.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You're right, Tom.
Plans are in the works and open to any ideas. People have great ideas for what we can do on the Commons for 2 days to make it the center of the universe.
I don't know if others are interested in that, but I am, because we're hosting an event on September 3rd, most likely, and we're very interested in doing packages and cross-promoting with events happening earlier. So that would be, I mean, and how to do that, what opportunities there may be to encourage people to take advantage of, what's going on downtown.
You know, one of the things we'll be doing is we'll be reaching out to community groups and organizations to see if they will be interested in doing some component of that weekend. And I'm not sure what that means yet, other than we are looking to engage community organizations and people in that process. So while we will put together a festival and a lot of different activities ourselves, we're anxious to include others in that process as well. We'll be closing down some streets, and there'll be some room to do some activities. So if you have some ideas, call the Downtown Alliance and let us know, because we're open. Right now, we're in that planning process. And
For example, if you've got, say, a life-size Stegosaurus, for instance.
It's in 5 pieces.
I assume you're talking about the beer
Yep.
brats at the farmer's market?
Yeah, it's most likely, this is, no, I'm just kidding. It looks like it's going to be